In this video, we are going to replace the front brake hose in a Nissan Altima. It's located behind the front wheel. It's time to remove our wheel. We're going to use a 21mm socket. Make sure you hold on to the wheel so it doesn't fall off. Put your lug nuts where you can find them. I'm going to take out these clips on the brake hose. By doing that, you can use a pry bar, basically anything that's comfortable for you. Don't pry too much up here on the line when you get to that part. Here is fine. I sprayed some penetrating oil and let it sit. That helps it come out a little easier. Now I'm going to go for this top clip. Same thing. Be careful as you pry against this. Another tool you can use is some needle nose locking pliers. And that can make life a little easier. So on the new hose, you're going to notice there's a notch here and a flat side here. And it's also on this area, there's a notch and a flat side. So when you're taking this old hose out, I want you to notice where those notches are in the hose so you put it in the right way. All right, I'm just going to spray this down a little bit. Helps it come out. You might as well hit that connection there too. And we're just going to wiggle this out. I'm going to look at my line and look for that notch. Sometimes you got to wipe away the rust to be able to see it clearly. And there it is. I have the notch there and the flat side there. With a 10mm line wrench. They can be a little snug sometimes, or not. Just work it back and forth. You want to loosen up that rust. You don't want to break the fitting. Or this line up here. Now I could have done it before I could have taken this out first, but then you wouldn't have a stable area to be unscrewing the fitting. And you may just have to work it back and forth all the way out. Just hold on to that bottom part so it doesn't swivel on you. Feel like we might be there. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave that there because I don't want brake fluid running all the way down the entire time I'm trying to take this end of the hose off. Okay, so now we're going to unbolt this bolt from the caliper with a 11mm. It's going to be brake fluid coming out. All right, so now it's time to put the new hose in, and I just want to make a mental note for you guys that this fitting, this pressed part, is down. Because sometimes you might want to try to put it in this way, but make sure that this is down just like it is here. So you're going to unscrew this bolt. The new hose comes with its own washers. I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to put this in again. Remember to keep the fitting down. The pressed part. You're going to find your notch and fit it into the bracket. Hold it there, grab your clip, and you're going to put it in. I usually use a little hammer. Feels good. Then I'm going to get my new washers and put the bolt through. So you have one washer on that side. This part of the hose fits here. Put your other washer on the other end. And get that started with your hands. Once you feel like you're in there, you can use your ratchet. Okay, you're going to want to squash those washers down a little bit. All right, so now we're going to put our other end into the line. I would not lock it into the bracket yet. I want you to be able to wiggle that line around a little bit to catch the threads. Sometimes the fitting scoots up a little bit. You've got to push it down to make it turn. So once you push it down, it'll easily spin. I wouldn't tighten it all the way because you still need to move this around a little bit. So once you get it in there, you're going to feed it into the bracket. Wiggle it in. Grab your clip. Get it started. Then you're going to just tap it in. Check to make sure it's in there. Feels good. Now I'm going to take my 10mm line wrench and I'm going to tighten the fitting down. Don't over tighten, just enough to keep it snug. All right, at this point, I'm going to brake clean everything down. You don't want any brake fluid hanging out, especially on this rubber part. Let that air dry. All right, so now we're going to check our master. We're going to take the cap off, master cylinder. We're going to look at the cap and see what kind of brake fluid it takes. This one says .3. And we're going to fill the master up to max. Do a little at a time so you don't overflow it. Sometimes if you shake the car, you can see the fluid moving and know where it is. All right, that's about good. Now we're going to take this rubber boot off of the bleeder. You can use locking pliers or any pliers. You're going to grab a 10mm wrench. And you're going to loosen the bleeder until brake fluid comes out. You're going to see some air bubbles. This is called a gravity bleed. And once you see a steady stream coming out, you know the air is, for the most part, out. You can see the bubbles popping. You don't want that air in there. The pedal will feel terrible. All right, I'm starting to see a heavy drip, pretty steady stream, and no air bubbles. So now I'm going to tighten this up. So now you just want to make sure your brake fluid hasn't dropped below that minimum line, and you want it kind of in between the max and the min. You're going to put your cap back on. And you're going to go feel that brake pedal. So now we're just going to pump the brake pedal. It may take a couple of times, and then it's going to come right up where it belongs. And once you feel it come right up, there we are. Nice firm brake pedal. That means you're all set. Now it's time to put our wheel back on. Keep a hand on it so it doesn't fall off till you get a lug nut started. Make sure you finger tight them. You don't want to cross thread the lug nuts on the studs. We're going to tighten up the lug nuts with a 21mm socket and a star-like pattern. You're going to be torquing these, so don't over-tighten. All right, so now we're going to torque our wheel. This vehicle takes 83 foot-pounds, so you set your torque wrench to 83 foot-pounds, and then you're going to go in a crisscross or star pattern as you torque. You're going to wait for the click. There's one. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I like to double check that I got them all. All right, now you can take a deep breath because you have finished the job. It's time to take your car for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.